Full disclosure, I'm not really a Christmas guy because I'm usually listening to Tool or Black Sabbath because I'm a badass, but I'm making an exception for the Christmas song, and specifically the rendition I did with Farron, so I'm going to link you below if you haven't seen that, because that's going to be kind of the one we're talking about, and this could be a lesson in kind of arrangement and taking a chord sheet, because I'll also link you to the chord sheet I was very loosely working on and somewhat arranging around it to kind of make, I don't know, a little bit of a different version of it. So yeah, anyways, by the way, what kind of balls did Nat King Cole have to name this the Christmas song? Anyways, really cool song, and we're going to kind of break it down, and we're going to start with the intro of it, which is a C major 7 voice chord. I'm just going to kind of speed through this, so otherwise it'd be like a 40-minute video. So anyways, you can just kind of, I'm going to break it into parts, and you can revisit these if you want, but it starts with a C major 7 voicing right here. So pointer finger on the C, the 8th fret of the E string, and we'll talk a little bit about the theory behind this too. And then your ring finger is on the 7 right here, so which is actually the 9th fret of the D string, pinky right behind that on 9G, middle finger on 8B, right? So, and then we're gonna hit the chord first, and then we're gonna kind of do a little melody run to kind of introduce the song. So really I'm taking it from 1 C major 7 chord voicing. I'm going to kind of do a little melody run where I go to the high E string, 8, 7, up a string, 10, 8, 6, leading myself into another C major 7 chord voicing that has the melody note that I'm looking for. So I've got my C on 3E, or 3A, making a power chord, 5D, middle finger, 4G, pinky, 5B. So you can see this is like a cool example of maybe finding a melody note within a chord. I'm kind of strumming down or playing it finger style. I also played this on the Cordoba in the video, but I'm playing it here because it has the inlays and stuff. So I'm playing the chord up to the melody, putting the melody on top, making this B string ring out a little bit, and then hitting the high E string, and then back to the B string. So that's the way you can kind of incorporate a melody into what you're kind of doing. So we've got C major 7. So again, I'm just kind of adding these melody notes into the chord. 3, 5, 6, F major 7, which is the same voicing we did on the C, but now we're doing it on the F. And then I'm going to jump to this. So this is really just kind of, I'm thinking almost like a G minor chord. I'm just barring the 3rd fret on the bottom 3 strings. And I'm adding the melody to this chord. So 5E, 3E, 6, 5, 3. And then here's something that I think a lot of times you'll see like a F minor 7 in this. I forget what the chord sheet says, but I kind of wanted something a little bit different, so minor 7 flat 5 chord voicing right here, which is open D 1 1 1. By the way, when I say the way I arranged it, I feel like I sound like such a douchebag. Like I arranged it. Like I don't know. It's a great song somebody else wrote. I'm just kind of throwing different chord voicings that I thought sounded good. Please feel free to change these chord voicings to whatever you want, and then just try to make anything your own, and that can be your arrangement, as it were. But anyways, after this minor 7 flat 5 chord, we're gonna go to an E7, open E, 2A, open D, 1G, into a G7. Now, the reason this is kind of like a good way to end an intro maybe, is it ends on a G7, the dominant 7 voicing, where G is the 5. So if G is the 5, what's the 1? If we go backwards, we find out the 1 is a C. And since the song starts on that C, the 5 kind of creates a tension to start it off where the vocals begin. And again, Farron just killed it on the song. She's an incredible singer. If I were to try to sing the song, it would have to be like Bing Crosby style. Like, chestnuts roasting on an open fire. But anyways, now we're just going to kind of get into more of like just a chord type thing. So we're going to start with that same thing at the beginning. And the way I was playing it, I was just kind of doing like 2 maybe hits per chord. So like a C major 7 to a D minor 9. Now this is really cool chord voicing, if you don't know this one. The root note is right here, 5A. There's the D. I'm playing its minor third, which is 3D. Then I'm going back to 5G and 5B. Right? A really cool kind of jazzy sounding chord. So we've got C major 7 to D to E minor 7 to A minor 7. Now I realize there are much more efficient ways you can play this. You could play C, 7, E, A. But just the way I wanted to do this, I wanted to create a lot of movement, and that's kind of my style, I guess, if you want to call it that. Just kind of moving around, so it's just kind of swapping out different chord voicing. So think of the first grouping of 4 chords. C major 7, D minor 9, E minor 7, which is 7A is your root, and then you kind of take like a regular minor chord, but lift your pinky, and you get a minor 7 into an A minor 7 rooted on the E string. So I have 5, skip the A string, 5, 5, 5. Right? Now, again, these are kind of extended chords, like 7 chords, 9 chords, whatever. You can always simplify that. Like if you see like a D minor 9, you can always simplify that to just a D minor. You can just take that number out there, in which case it would leave you with a C to a D minor, to a E minor, to an A minor. Right? Same difference, whatever. Just kind of however you want to do it. But either way, we've got C major 7 to the D. I'm kind of hammering it on and adding my pinky right there to the A. And then I know I'm going to work my way back to the F major 7. So I'm just kind of adding notes in the scale to get to this note right here, this C. Right? So the way I did that is all on the B string. 6, 5, 3, F major 7. And then there's the melody run of that part, right? Jack Frost nipping at your nose. And then it's the same thing as the intro, right? It's that same little run. And I'm trying to comp what Farron's voice is doing, so Jack Frost nipping at your nose. And when you're comping with the singer, a cool thing to do is maybe take the note that they're playing and try to work it into the chord without stepping all over what they're doing. So it can be kind of a fine line, but I think it always sounds kind of cool if you try to add a little bit of the melody to the chord. So after that, the intro thing again, where we just did this little run to the half diminished to the E7, then I'm walking up to the A minor 7, E, G, A, and then back to a G. So this is kind of like a jazzy kind of walking bass line thing. E, G, A, minor 7, walk it back chromatically into a G. And a G with the 3B on top, not a full G, because we want the melody to end there, because then we have somewhere to go. Which again, there's that melody again. If that's kind of like the part of the song, B1, 3, E, 3E, 5E, 7, we can kind of add that to chords. So we have a C chord. I can add all those notes on top of a regular open C chord. Bum, 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 bum. I'm just moving the shape with me to the 5th fret. And then I want to end up on 7E, so I'm going to throw a B7 right there, which ends there. It's just kind of like the chord voicing you can pick to kind of get that note in there. Bum, 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 bum. And then E major 7 is right here, which is the same voicing we used in the C chord, which is why you gotta know your chord voicings, people. So 7A, and then it goes 7, 9, 8, 9. And then I'm just kind of hanging out on this until I go to a G. To a G7, right? Bum, 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 bum. Do-do. Do-do-do-do-do, G. Everybody knows. And that goes back to the beginning. So it goes back to the same chords. C to D minor to E to A. Do the same run. Then back to this part, half diminished. Then to A, back to G. Then the run up to the B7. And then this is where we go into the bridge. We'll find it hard to sleep tonight. Right? So we're kind of comping every note there. And the way we're going to do this run is E minor 7, A minor 7, there's that D minor 9, G7, C major 7. Great exercise for just kind of running through chords really quickly, just one burst at a time. Do, 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 do. And then this is where it gets to the bridge. So we go from a C major 7 to a C dominant 7. And the way to do that, all you have to do is just pop your middle finger up, and it takes a major 7 into a flat 7. So this is kind of like a key change, right? So we're going from C major 7 to C7. Then, now we're kind of in a different realm here for what I would consider the bridge of this song. G minor 7 to G minor 6. I can never stay still too long whenever I'm playing a chord, so I'm always switching it. Which, like, how annoying is that? You're trying to learn a song, and the guy you're trying to, like, learn the song from changes it every single time that he does it. I'm really sorry about that. You're just gonna have to deal with it. But, yeah, so do-do-do-do-do, do-do-do. So it's really just kind of two chords, G minor to F, but I'm playing a G minor 7 to minor 6. If you don't know minor 6, it's 3, skip 1, 2, 3, 3, to F major 7. Maybe one thing, I don't even remember how I played it, but I think I was probably adding my pinky to the 3rd fret of the B string. F major 7, inflection, back to the G. That happens twice. Now we're gonna do the same thing, down a step. And again, seeing how the intervals relate, again, this is just a minor chord, move down 2 frets to a major 7 chord. Memorizing a bunch of chords in a song can be like totally hard. So one cool thing to do is to kind of think how they relate to each other. So if you think of this, all right, I've got this minor down to a major 7. Move that whole thing down a step. So what's the step down from G? You go G to F sharp to F. So now instead of going G minor to F major, we're going F minor, and then you go a step down from F, which you can't really do it. You have to, because here's F, E, it ended up being an E flat major 7. So we're gonna go up here. We're gonna play the F minor up here. So G minor to F major. Now move it down a step. Even though we move down a step compositionally, we're actually going higher to get to the F minor 7 to the E flat major 7. So again, it's the same thing, we're mirroring. It's G to F, and then F to E flat. Same thing, but down a step. So it's easier to remember one progression down a step than like more chords, in my opinion, right? So anyways, the whole bridge, G minor 7 to the 6, to F major 7, we can inflect it. Then again, do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Move it down a step. Okay, and again, this is just, my root note is 8A, which is an F, and then the minor 7 shape, to 6A, which is an E flat, major 7. And then we're gonna take this to a dominant D, a D7, right? Okay, and I'm just playing, you probably even played this from the top. It's 2E, 1B, 2G, and I'm just getting the bottom 4 strings. And the way I'm inflecting that is I'm opening up the E string. And then back to the G to the 7. So this is kind of how we're bringing it back home. This D kind of leads us into a G. And again, this is just kind of about dominant. I'm going to do a separate voicing on the beauty of using dominant 7 chords compositionally, because they always lead back to the tonic or whatever. So if we're thinking of a D7, that's going to resolve on a G, which it does. And I think I should play an open G in the song. And then we're going to make that its own dominant 7, G7, which is going to resolve to a C, which is where we're back to the beginning part, the verse, right? So it's a cool way if you're, interested in like your own songwriting. How do you get out of a key and how do you get back? A lot of times dominant 7 voicings are going to be the key to unlocking how you get back into a different key. I guess it was actually a pun. Didn't mean it to be that way. Anyway, so after the D7, we're going to go to a G, then to a G7. And then that's just a little whatever run. A little get back to C run. E, D, C, B, C. I think one way to even kind of like strengthen the resolution is to kind of dance around in a scale and lead it back to where you're going. And then now once we're here, we're back to the original verse chord. C to, there's that 9. The E minor to A. Do, 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 do. Back to A minor 7 to G. Then the long fretboard run. And then this is kind of like the place where we're gonna kind of end it, right? So after we get to that B7, so this is the Merry Christmas part, obviously, the really pulling at the heartstrings at this point. We've got a C chord, just a regular C bar chord, because here's the melody. Merry Christmas, 8E, 10B, 8B, to 10D. So I'm adding all of this from a C bar chord on the 8th fret. And you can kind of play it all as one chord to you. Now this right here, so this is a D. I guess you call this D major 9, something like that, right? This is, I love this chord, man. 5A, 4D, 5G, 5B. And then end on a C major 7. Because no arranger, because that's what I'm doing, I'm arranging the song, my personal arrangement, douchebag, is can be complete without ending on a major 7, right? Because there's a little bit of a, we're not just gonna end it, we're not gonna go C, no. That doesn't leave the mystery, we have to end it like this, a C major 7 voicing a different one. So my middle finger is on the G, 3E, 3A, 2D, and I'm stopping short of my strum, so I really get that B, because the B is the major 7. That's what kind of gives this chord its unresolved feel, okay? So again from that C run. G, C major 7. So yeah, feel free to try to tackle this one or change it however you want. You can just go straight on the chord chart. It's cool. I think one of the most fun things about guitar is being able to take existing songs and maybe rearranging them in a way that is more your style or just kind of something a little bit different. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a very Merry Christmas. Thanks.